Hi, welcome to Rita's Kitchen. Today I'll be showing you guys how to do apple banana roll-ups my way. Well, as you all know, the first thing you do in Rita's Kitchen is wash your hands. First things first, you want to make sure you wash your hands for at least 10 to 15 seconds to capture all the germs. If you don't know how to properly wash them, just do the happy birthday song one time. Okay, so the first thing we need for these apple banana pie roll-ups are, of course, Granny Smith green apples. I don't have a special way that I actually carve my apple down. What I simply do is first remove the stem. Then another thing is I do not own a potato peeler like the modern world today. So I usually use a knife, but if you have a potato peeler, feel free to use that. It's probably faster. So if you're using a knife, I actually start from the top in a circular motion. And I'm pretty good with the knife. This actual peelings will end up being one whole piece. Yours don't have to be. I just like to impress myself with a knife from time to time. Voila. So that's the peelings. You can eat them if you want. They're really good. So you want to go ahead and cut this in 4 sections like a wall pretty much. You want to get as closest to the core as you can. That's 1, 2, 3. That's what you should end up with. Now, for these apple banana pie roll-ups, what you want to do is dice this apple. You could do it as small as you want or as big as you want. It's totally up to you. I'll show you the size that I prefer. This is the dice size I prefer. You could go bigger or smaller, it's up to you. Okay, so I'm done cutting the apples up. I actually used 3 Granny Smith apples for this dish. I'm going to use 1 banana. I'm sure you guys all know how to cut a banana and peel it out of the peeling. So go for it. Another thing I want to go ahead and go off into is what we're going to need as far as the ingredients for this simple little dessert. I've decided to go with the egg roll wrappers because they're nice and flaky and they're just really good. You're going to need brown sugar, a little apple juice, ground cinnamon, vanilla flavoring, cornstarch. Now, this here is a old-fashioned caramel dip. This is just for the side if you guys want to use it. I use the Marzetti brand. You can find that in any grocery store. Now it's time to put these apples and bananas in the skillet and saute them. Okay, now it's time to do the sauteing. What I used in my skillet is 2 tablespoons of soft butter. Okay, so now I've added my green apples, my banana. I put 2 tablespoons of butter that you guys seen simmering before adding the actual fruits. You want to put 4 ounces of brown sugar, a nice half of a squeezed lemon. What that lemon do is wakes up the flavor, in my opinion. See how I'm actually letting it simmer down? The brown sugar has melted down the way that I expected it to. Now I'm going to add about 1 ounce of vanilla extract. Then I'm going to add some Tropicana apple juice, about 2 ounces of this. That's why I only got a small one, because it don't take much. And it depends on also how big your dish is. Then I'm going to wake it up with some ground cinnamon. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let that simmer down and cook for about a good, I would say about 8 to 10 minutes, just for those fruits to get nice and soft and gooey the way we like, and then we'll go ahead and bind it together. Okay, so now I've actually let these good fruits simmer down for a good 8 to 10 minutes, like I told you guys, and we're going to let the camera guy get in here and show you guys how nice and gooey and soft these fruits look before I actually bind them together. Okay, so now what we want to do is, so this can become a pie filling, you can use flour or you can use that good old cornstarch. Lock it up. So what we're going to do today is we're going to lock it up with the cornstarch so it can become gel-like, your pie filling. So here in this bowl, I have 3 spoons of cornstarch and about 2.5 ounces of water. So I'm going to slowly add it to it, because again, if you don't know how to use it, you will lose your dish from locking it up. So we're going to do a small amount at a time. See where it takes us. See, it's still fairly loose. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more. As you see, it's constantly becoming thicker and tighter, and that's what you want. Okay, and that should be just enough. And if it become a little too thick, just take that apple juice and just do a little dab of it, and it'll loosen it right up and go back to how you want it. But for me, I think I'm going to take maybe a little bit of apple juice just to loosen it a little, but not much. A dab will do it. And I'm going to let you guys see how this stuck together. Go ahead and get the shot of this one hell of a writer. And that's how you want it to look. It has become gel-like. It has binded together and did what it's going to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually let this sit for about 10 to 15 minutes, get a little cool before I start rolling my apple banana pie roll-ups. Okay, so now I've allowed my mix to sit for 15 minutes to cool so I can do my pie roll-ups. But first I want to take a second to educate you guys on some things about this cornstarch. So the longer you allow your dish to sit, the cornstarch actually makes it thicker if it's enough in it. And that's what it did to the mix. So like I told you guys earlier, when it does that, use the apple juice just to loosen it up, and the consistency came together very well. I took the time to actually roll a few of the pie roll-ups. So I did some so I could show you guys how your proper roll-up are supposed to look. And it's nothing but an egg roll wrapper. So again, I've showed you guys earlier in one of my egg roll tutorials. You could go there and see how to properly roll one, but I am going to actually show you guys how to roll one and how much of the mix to put inside the wrap. So what I have here is a 1 ounce scooper. I'm going to take 2 of these scoops and put in the inside of this egg roll wrapper, which is 2 ounces. If you think you could fit more, feel free. So now we're going to go ahead and roll that. I have the egg roll wrapper diamond shaped down. You want to take your ends, fold in. You want to go down, fold up. You want to actually take these, fold them in, because you're protecting your pie filling. You want to do a nice little light fold, and it could be loose. You want to take these ends here on each side, fold them in, and roll up again. You can never roll too tight because you want to protect the pie filling. So then, to keep it nice and closed shut, I have a little egg wash, which is nothing but 1 cracked egg and a little water added to it, beaten down. And that's what you're going to get. So now I've actually got my oil hot, ready to fry. And that's what we're going to do. Wrap this dessert up. So now my oil is nice and hot. And I only use literally probably 1 ounce of oil. And it's pretty hot, so it's browning really fast. So I'm going to say, depending on how hot your oil is, you can flip these, but you only want them to get golden brown on each side. Okay, now that the banana apple pie roll-ups are done, I have one last step that I'm doing to this little dessert. And what I'm going to do is actually roll them in some granulated sugar and ground cinnamon mixed up. And you can do it while it's nice and hot, because the oil that's draining is going to help it actually stick to the shell.